You're welcome to ask questions if you'd like, but welcome everyone. It's great to be with you. Thank you for joining us either live or on the replay, but we're excited to be with you today and to talk about meta power and powering up your life with these wonderful approaches that have been so effective in our lives and in so many other people we know. And we're going to do not a deep dive, but we're going to give you a good overview of what's happening and some ideas for improving the metabolic health of our lives. So I'm Mark Dayton, and this is Cynthia Dayton. And we'll be your hosts for part of this presentation, and then later on, Dr. Joel will also be taking part of the presentation as well. So without further ado, let's jump in, and I will share my screen. Can everybody see that? Okay. Well, today we are going to be talking about living your most powerful, your most productive, your most wonderful life that's possible. And a big part of that is metabolic health, and it's giving you the ability to have that health and vitality at any age and any stage of life. So I'm going to start with my story, what happened with me with this MetaPower product line. And I'm a really active kind of guy. I love to ski. I love to mountain bike. Here I am with one of my buddies up on the top of some mountains here close by. And I love to be active and doing lots of things. I also love to do two other things that are really important to me. One is to play the guitar. I love playing the guitar. I come from a musical family. And so that was always really important to me. And the other was this. Hold up your hand, please.
Okay, yeah. You can do it.
Was being able to hold my sweetheart's hand. That's really important to me. And in my mid-40s, I started noticing pain in my fingers as I was typing on the computer and that kind of thing. And it got worse and worse until I was in a lot of pain. I was dealing with osteoarthritis. And I just kept going with life and got to a point where I had to give up those two things. I really couldn't play the guitar without a lot of pain, and I couldn't hold my wife's hand. She would take my hand, and I would cringe. I would be at about a seven pain level when she gave my hand a squeeze, and so I just thought, well, that's going to be my life for the duration. And then on top of that, I was mountain biking one day and I had a crash and smacked my hand and really made the situation much worse. Well, I happen to know a really great chiropractor, a couple of really great chiropractors. So I went out for a visit for a couple of weeks. And this was what my hand looked like when we started the treatment. And at a pain level 7. And after a couple of weeks of treatment, you can see I gained quite a bit of range of motion and my pain level came way down. So,
I don't know if they can see how much different that is, but it is significant.
yes, yeah. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It was really very helpful. Unfortunately, I live in Utah and they're in Florida, and so I wasn't able to continue that treatment, and gradually my hands drifted back to where they were before. And until about 6 months ago, when the MetaPower product lines came out, we decided to start taking it. It was introduced at the doTERRA convention, and I started taking the collagen product. Had no expectations and didn't really know exactly what was going to happen, but I started taking 1 packet a day, and then I went up to 2 packets a day, and I was feeling fine. And about 10 days in, I was sitting in church next to Cynthia, not thinking much about anything other than church. And she reached over and took my hand. I didn't think anything about it. And suddenly she just got so excited. She was almost jumping out of the pew. She was pointing
It's true.
and I thought, what? And she held her hand up and we were holding hands like that with no pain. First time in about 15 years.
Yeah.
So I was just dumbfounded. It was amazing, amazing kind of thing.
Awesome.
And we walked home, and when we came in the door, she said, "Hey, you should try playing your guitar." And I said, "Yeah, we probably almost sold that a couple of years ago. I don't think it's going to work." And she said, "No, really, get it out and try to play it." And so I pulled out my guitar, and I was able to play my guitar for the first time without pain, and actually form the chords in about 15 years. So this is what my hand looked like after at that point, and my pain level was near zero. So really,
do it now. Just show them now what it's like now. I
so
mean, no pain. No pain.
so that is just remarkable. And like I said, I had no expectations, and I got two of the most important things in my life back that I could really love and enjoy and share with my sweetheart. So it's been really wonderful. This is a picture of me with the guitar on that day, and I'm not going to take the time to actually play the whole thing, but you can see I was so choked up I couldn't even sing. But I played a song for the first time. It was really, really wonderful. So I'm not saying that this is going to be everybody's experience. It's different for everyone. But this is the kind of thing, and I'm hearing stories from lots of different people about increased energy, less joint pain. I mean, there are a lot of things that we're hearing that are wonderful, wonderful advantages of these wonderful products that we're going to be talking about today. So the product line that we'll be discussing is MetaPower, and it's really about our metabolic health and living our most healthy metabolic life with the help of these products. I hear a lot of people talk about aches and pains and this and that, things that are preventing them and preventing me sometimes as well from living my most energetic, top of my game kind of life, whether it's lack of energy, if I'm dealing with a weight issue. Sometimes my moods are up and down. Sometimes I'm having sleep issues. Some people have the brain fog thing going on, mental clarity, or dealing with stress. And these are all things that can prevent us from living our most powerful life. There was a study done recently about metabolic health, because that's really kind of the core of a good foundation for a life of vitality and energy and strength. And if we don't have that foundation of good metabolic health, cardiometabolic health, then we really are kind of behind the curve. In this study, they found that only 6.8% of the U.S. population is what we consider to be optimal cardiometabolic health. And so that tells me that we have a lot of room to improve our lives, right? To improve our health and to reach up to that area where we can enjoy much greater vitality and energy in our lives. Go that way. So metabolic health and biological age are really inseparable. And I'll quickly talk about this concept, which I really like. It's called, we call it the health span. So we have our lifespan, that's how many years old you are. But on the health span line, we're talking about what is your quality of life during those years that you're on the planet? What is your level of health and your ability to do the things you really want to do with vitality and energy versus not being able to enjoy that. And if you, as you can see here, the orange line is that optimum metabolic health line. That's where we all want to be, and it stretches out at a high level until quite late in life, and then drops off quickly, which is a great way to live life, a high quality of life.
If we needed it, it could go all the way across.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Just a right angle, huh?
And then
I like that. But the darker lines are with, if we don't intervene and if we don't find better ways of improving our metabolic health, then much earlier in our lives, we're at a point where we really can't do the things we do. And I'm at the age now where I hear people talk about, oh, well, I'm just too old to do that, or I can't do that with my grandkids anymore. And I think, yes, you can. Maybe you can't do everything, or maybe do it the way you have always done it or wanted to do it. But there is so much more that you can do if you increase your metabolic health.
I want to give a real quick example. We just got back from a trip in upstate New York, and we were off on a lake. And this guy was rowing kids and boating kids and pulling boats, and I don't know what else you were doing out there on that lake for hours and hours every day that we were there. And slept well at night, made pancake breakfasts in the morning. That is really good metabolic health.
It was so fun to be able to do that, and I am grateful that I have the ability, with the help of these wonderful products, to be able to do that. Thank you. I also hear young people say, well, I'll think about that when I hit my 50s or 60s or whatever. And the reality is that the decline in the markers for metabolic health begin in our 20s. The NAD plus and metabolic function starts to decline even at that early age. So it's important, no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you are in life, to do everything we can to support good metabolic health. So that's the ideal. We want to have our maximum capability to enjoy that maximum health span for as many years as we can. But there are obstacles that stop us from being able to do that. And tonight we're going to talk about these 4 major obstacles that are some of the biggest impediments to being able to have that metabolic health. So we're going to talk about maturing fat cells, blood sugar spikes, cellular integrity, and inferior supplements. Wow. Let's start with the maturing fat cells. So there is a medical term called adipose fat cells, and essentially our fat cells, we all produce fat cells, and fat cells, as they mature, they expand, they grow and they get bigger, and that's called adipose fat. And so over time, we're dealing with, if we're producing those fat cells, they're going to grow, right? And that's not healthy, and that's not what most of us want. MetaPower, doTERRA created this first product that we're going to talk about, the MetaPower Metabolic Blend, with this challenge in mind in dealing with these adipose fat cells.
And can I just say that we also store a lot of stuff in our cells that we need to release, and it's hard to get it out of cells, and essential oils help them to be removed. And that's one of the things that happens with what Mark's going to explain to you, is how to remove the other toxins and get the circulatory patterns going better in our bodies with essential oils.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. So this was a study that was done by doTERRA with using actual human fat cells in a laboratory setting. And over on the left are untreated cells, and over to the right are the cells that were treated with MetaPower Metabolic Blend at different dosages. And the cells were allowed to mature. And you can see the untreated cells on the left grew, they became the big balloons, right? And the greater the dosage of the metabolic blend, the ones on the right had very little adipose fat maturation, and it's really pretty remarkable when you look at the outcomes. So this is called the metabolic blend, and to me it has two really great features. One is this inhibiting of fat cell maturation that we just talked about. But the other thing that a lot of people are talking about is that it actually also helps curb those cravings for food. And so you get the double benefit of not blowing up your balloons, right? But not adding more balloons to the mix. It's a wonderful 1-2 kind of a benefit. There are actually, you see here, it looks like 4 products. They are actually all the same formulation. And one thing that I've really always appreciated about doTERRA is that they're very careful about making things synergistic and that work together and that really benefit you the most practical and powerful way. And so what they discovered was that with this product, people like to take this product in different ways. Some people like the oil, and they'll put the oil in a drink or under their tongue, or even diffuse it. Other people like the gel caps, or I always forget the name of that.
This gel cap?
Yeah, gel caps.
Well, yeah, okay.
yeah, they're soft gels.
Soft
Soft
gels.
gels. That's what I'm trying to think of. And so there's a form in the soft gels. Other people love chewing gum. I'm not a gum chewer. Cynthia loves chewing gum.
I do.
And so some people just love the gum, and it gives you that same benefit. Plus, it gives you that sensation and that wonderful taste of being able to have that in your mouth. And then there's also the beadlets that are great for if you're on the go. You put them in your purse or your pocket, and you're walking down the aisle at the grocery store, and the Snickers bar is calling to you. You can take a couple of those, and many people talk about how it just curbs that appetite and curbs that craving. So it's really wonderful benefit. So this is the first product, MetaPower Metabolic Blend, and there are 4 forms that you can take it, but it's one product, one formulation.
And when it says it supports metabolic health, how do you explain that? What's it doing there?
Well, it's really helping you to balance, and like I said, it's a synergistic product, and it's helping you to have the maximum benefit of your.
All right, let me get my shoes.
Right.
You have an idea on that?
Well, it also is helping you from eating too much sugar in your diet,
Mhm.
which is going to spike your insulin resistance, and then you're going to want more sugar, and that's actually going to decrease your metabolic health. And it also helps you just to better energy all day long. And so that's also a sign of better metabolic.
Okay, all right, I'm coming.
You might want to mute whoever is having non-muted phones.
That was the perfect segue to blood sugar spikes.
Yeah. There you go.
So the second obstacle to optimum metabolic health is blood sugar spikes. And if you think about it in this way, if you went out and bought a new car, and then you went to drive it, and you just slammed on the accelerator, slammed on the gas, accelerator, gas, and you would wear that car out in a fraction of the time than if you just drove it at a nice constant speed. And that's really kind of what happens to our bodies when we're constantly spiking our blood sugar. And if with our Western diets, it's really hard not to, right? You have to eat very carefully and be very mindful and cognizant of what you're eating to keep those blood sugar levels more in line. So this second product is This second product is called MetaPower Assist. And here's another graph that I think is just really pretty remarkable. So they did some testing with a number of people who didn't change anything they were eating. They just kept eating the same way they were. And the top graph shows you the ups and downs in their blood sugar levels without taking the assist. And then the bottom graph shows you that when they started taking the assist, that was the measurement of their blood sugar levels. And again, it's just remarkable to see how those spikes smooth out and they're much lower, and it allows your body to have a much smoother and more uniform blood sugar level throughout the day.
Does
Go ahead.
Dr. Joel, do you have something to add to that?
About how that happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, so something that I really love that this supplement has. So it actually has something called mulberry root extract, and mulberry leaf extract will actually block the enzymes that will break down sugar, and it goes into the place of the enzyme. And a purpose of an enzyme is to break down sugar so that it's absorbable. But if you block it, then what happens is it basically, if you're eating any type of carbohydrate, whether it's a simple or a complex carbohydrate, it reacts to the body as if all your carbohydrates are complex, because it slows the process of the sugar being broken down because the enzyme is blocked. Eventually, that mulberry leaf extract is going to pop out of the enzyme, and it is going to start to digest it, but it will have given a much longer period of time for that carbohydrate to be digested. So in essence, what it does is it gives you a more consistent, what this graph shows, a more consistent sugar level rather than having peaks and valleys.
Perfect, thank you. So it really is such a great benefit that you can depend on having that, not only the decreases in spikes, but it also stabilizes your energy levels throughout the day. This is it comes in a capsule, and this is the one product that is most effective if you take it 20 minutes or so before your biggest meal, so that the capsule has an opportunity to digest it and be available in your stomach to do what Dr. Joel just talked about. So
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a really great benefit.
It works really well too. It's kind of surprising. I've had many experiences with this now, and I found a couple of things that have happened for me. One is it also has made my desire to kind of overeat. It seems like I find myself satiated, and I know it's a response to this, because without using it, I still have that tendency to want a couple extra carbohydrates or something, but it really seems to quell that. I think that's very interesting. And I do find my energy levels stabilized as well. And that's probably why I don't feel like overeating so much too, because I just feel more stable.
Really,
Yeah.
takes care of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. The third area of the obstacles that we're going to talk about is the cellular integrity. And we're going to focus first on collagen, because that's a major part of this product. And what we hear today, from a lot of different areas is really not accurate information about collagens. And you may have heard some of these. I've heard most of these, that you just, 1 or 2 collagens are all you need, that they're all easily assimilated. Collagen by itself is enough. Liquid collagen is great. And these are all things that we're finding that just aren't accurate, right? So MetaPower Advantage has addressed these issues in really powerful ways. And we're going to talk about 2 of the most powerful first here. One is that there are 9 unique collagen types in this product. This is the packet that it comes in. It's a powder form.
And this is what it looks like when you drink it.
And there are 9 collagens in this product, and also a number of other synergistic ingredients that we'll talk about here again. And as I mentioned, doTERRA thinks these things through very, very carefully. They don't just throw a bunch of stuff in there to be able to say, well, we've got the magical fruit of the week in there, you know, go ahead and drink it. But there is a purpose for every one of these ingredients that makes a big difference. So the collagens, there are 9 different types of collagens in this product. And they are synergistic, and they are each unique, provide a unique benefit for your metabolic health. I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail here, but you can see some are related to skin, others for bone, some for, actually, interestingly, type 5 is to stabilize 2 of the other types that makes them more effective. For muscle, cartilage, and even supporting brain aging and brain function. So it's really amazing. And the way Dr. Joel talks about this is it like if you are planting sod, you want to make sure that you have all the layers right. So you want the base layer with maybe gravel, and then the dirt, and then maybe a little more sandy, and then the grass on top. So you have a really great full system. And that's really how these products work. They're synergistic with each other, but they each also address a specific area that we have for collagen in our bodies.
No,
Okay.
just, well, maybe I will just give a little, I guess I'll call it a testimonial. But what I have personally experienced and what I've seen with most of my clients who I've been able to watch the process is that their skin tone starts to really change. It just looks more healthy, and people besides me are starting to notice that. It's just, there's something about it. You can't, it's not like suddenly you're like, wow, wake up the next morning and you look like you're 30 years younger or whatever, but you do have a better skin health. And it's pretty, and also the healing process, which I have noticed has really improved with my body. Post exercise, just if I get a cut, it heals so much faster. So those are a couple of really awesome things, just on the quick side of what can happen.
Oh, it is, by the way, it is a marine collagen. It's a very, very high quality marine collagen from fish. And we're going to talk about the taste and the flavor here in just a second. So not to worry. These are some of the other synergistic ingredients that are in the product that I love the fact that I'm getting all of this. I'm not just getting my collagen, but I'm getting all these other wonderful ingredients as well. We talked a little bit, I'm not going to again go through all of them, but we talked about the collagen already, but there's NMN. I hear a lot in the news today about NMN and NAD and NAD plus. NADH and NAD plus, and those are included in this product. That it's so amazing that I'm getting the benefit of the collagen for all those reasons we just saw, but I'm also getting these other ingredients that are helping me with my energy level, with my stamina, with that core factory of energy that is being boosted and helped throughout
Before
my day.
before you go on with that one, hyaluronic acid, resveratrol, rose apple, liposonal, biotin, these are all things that have been talked about for many, many years as helping skin and helping with general health. And so you're getting that in here as well. So you're not only getting this incredible collagen, but you're getting things that support what collagen will do inside of that whole packet.
Two other things that are really amazing about this formulation is the bioavailability and the fact that it's in a powder form. And I love that fact. It is so easy and so convenient. Cynthia and I have used collagens over the years, many different types and forms, and the liquids are difficult to deal with. You know, you have to refrigerate them, you have to transport them around. I can take this, throw it in my pocket or my pack and take it with me, and it's super easy. I just open it up, dump it in, it dissolves instantly, and it tastes good. I think it
Yeah,
tastes good.
I do too. I do too. I think it's good.
I think it tastes really good.
And I like it especially with cold water or with icy water.
Okay, yeah.
It really tastes better to me. I'm an ice water fan.
We don't recommend that you use it with hot drinks because that tends to change the composition. So with a cold drink, and I put it in my water bottle, fill it up, drink it, and I think it tastes great. There are people I've talked to who don't care for the flavor, and so if you're more the shot kind of person and get it all down in one shot, then that works too. But most people I talk to think it tastes pretty good, and it does have kind of an orangey flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that it's 12 times more bioavailable, which is pretty remarkable. And in layman's terms, the reason that can happen is because the collagen molecule is quite long, quite large, and it's more difficult for our bodies to digest. And doTERRA has figured out how to chop those up basically into smaller chains that are more easily digested by the body and more available. So 12 times more that you're getting for whatever you take in than if you were taking other collagens. So just in summary, it really does, it's a very comprehensive, synergistic product that does amazing things from the collagen standpoint, but has all these other wonderful abilities for cognitive function, for skin, for bones, for all of those parts of our bodies that are benefited by this. So in summary, summarizing to where we are at this point before I hand it off to Dr. Joel, we talked about the obstacles to metabolic health. The first one, it was maturing fat cells, the adipose fat, and the MetaPower metabolic blend is formulated to address that obstacle. And if you remember, it comes in the 4 different types of the ways that you can take it. The second one was blood sugar spikes, and that is addressed by the metabolic assist, MetaPower assist, and really brings those blood sugar spikes down into a more healthy range. Oh, by the way, there is on this same channel an equip class coming up that talks about Dr. Joel is going to talk about insulin resistance and this whole question of blood sugar and insulin. So you want to be sure and tune in on that next week, as well as be some really great information for you.
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah. And then the third one is cellular integrity. This is the collagen product, the MetaPower Advantage, and is the sachet that we've been talking about. The fourth one is inferior supplements, and a lot of people just don't have the right supplementation or ones that aren't really effective for what they need. And so doTERRA has a line of products called Lifelong Vitality to address that fourth obstacle of inferior supplementation. And I'm going to turn it over now to Joel, Dr. Joel, to talk to us about that.
And while we're moving over to that, just a quick thought at the end of this that I'm hoping that we can answer, and it comes up in a question that Dr. Joel can actually address during his presentation perhaps, and that is, how can you know if your metabolic health is equal to or better than your actual age? How do you know where you are in that? We gave some indicators, right? Getting good sleep, all those other things. But how can you know that that's the case? So just keep that in mind, and you can give us some pointers. I know you can, Dr. Joel, because you have in the past. So there you go.
Okay, okay.
Thank you for listening to us.
We'll be back.
Oops.
You're muted,
Muted.
Dr. Joel.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for yeah, helping us understand a little bit more about MetaPower and the importance of metabolic health. So I want to talk today. We have a lot of people come into our office wondering about how they can maximize their health, how they can, and a lot of times they'll come in. Some people will take a supplement and they'll say, hey, I take Centrum Silver, or they'll take some type of, vitamin or mineral, and they'll say, is this a good supplement? Is this what I should be taking? So I want to give you some pointers on what makes a good daily supplement. And what these are things that I take. I've taken lots of different types of supplements. I do take doTERRA supplements now. I hadn't up until about a year and a half ago, maybe year and a half ago. I had taken some of them, but not this one that I'm going to talk about, their daily supplements. So let me tell you about what I believe are crucial to a daily supplement. So one, we want to make sure that we're able to bridge our gaps that we have in our nutrition. We want to make sure that we can take care of inflammation. We have to talk about remodeling, rebuilding what we're breaking down. And then obviously, in order for us to be able to benefit from what we're taking, it has to be absorbed into our system. So I'm going to talk about those 4 different pointers, and hopefully we'll answer some questions that you have about what looks like a good supplement. So unfortunately, in our food system, our food supply now, we do not get everything we need to get out of our food that we eat. Food practices, I should say farming practices, have changed significantly within the past 50 to 100 years. And with those farming practices changing, we've been able to produce a lot more of food, but it's at a lot less quality. So what we end up having is the food that is farmed. In fact, there have been some great studies that have shown that that some of these fruits and vegetables are down by as much as 25% of the vitamins that they had even 50 years ago. Mineral absorption from these plants is going way down because the ground is not given a chance to recover and to have the water bring back the minerals that are supposed to end up back in your food. So as a result, due to over farming, your fruits and vegetables, they're not having the same mineral content that they used to have. So what we end up having is we end up having enough food, but we are not well nourished. Just to give you a couple of stats, within the US population, 41% of us are vitamin D deficient, okay? Oops, I don't know why I can't go to the next. Sorry, my screen froze here for some reason. Okay, 1 in 6 have multiple vitamin deficiencies. I'm sorry, 1 in 16 have multiple vitamin deficiencies. And here's the thing, people who lack vitamin D, they're more prone to have visceral fat. So if you are low in fat, low in vitamin D, you are automatically setting yourself up for poor metabolic health. Okay, so that's a very, very crucial vitamin that we need in our diet. Now, what can you do? Okay, I eat a very, very healthy diet. I'm very honed in and very careful about what I eat. People around me know that. I eat very heavily on the fruits and vegetables, and I don't eat a ton of meat, but I eat a good amount for my protein. But I'm very, very careful about my diet. And that being said, I always make sure that I plug in gaps because I'm going to have gaps. Okay, so ways that you can help with your vitamin D exposure, or being able to get enough vitamin D. You can go ahead and be outdoors. That's awesome. And eating fresh fruits and veggies like I do will be able to help you have more of your vitamins and minerals filled up in your diet, but you're going to have gaps. And I recommend filling the gaps in with something like Microplex VMZ. This is an awesome supplement. I really recommend it. I've used it with a lot of patients, and they always, we haven't had one that hasn't been pleased with it. It's really, really a great resource for them, and it just works well. It's very, very bioavailable. I can't go into all the specifics about bioavailability. If you have a question about that, I'm happy to talk with you after the class or something like that in the question and answer. But bioavailability means your ability to absorb it. And they've done things that have made it extremely capable for you to absorb and get this into your digestive tract. Okay. Another thing that we talk about is making sure that we manage inflammation in our bodies. We live in a very pro-inflammatory environment. Here's an example. If you look at this map, this is put out by the EPA, and this was actually a report that they put out. They estimated that 130,000 Americans die each year from air pollution. So there is particulate in our air that is causing inflammatory processes, that is causing aggravation in our lungs. And that aggravation in our lungs is killing us, unfortunately. So you look at PM 2.5, that's parts per million. That's the small particulate that's in the air. And if you look at this map, you people in Utah are looking a little bit okay, but even in the Provo and Salt Lake areas, if you're in those areas, you are much more prone to have poor air quality. I'm here in Orlando, Florida, and we actually have poor air quality here too. So I can't escape that. I'm not going to move out of Orlando. My practice is here, but what I can do is I can take supplements that will help take down that inflammation in my body. And that's what I do every single day. Another thing that we do is we choose to eat healthy. When we choose to eat healthy, you're going to decrease inflammation in your body. Evolutionarily, our bodies are programmed to want to choose foods that are high in sugar and easy to absorb. That's we're programmed that way. But unfortunately, that doesn't help us now because we have so much food available in the United States. But when we choose to eat those foods, again, we are going to create an inflammatory process. So shifting away from simple carbohydrates, using things like we already talked about, the MetaPower Assist, which will make our carbohydrates more complex carbohydrates, but then also using things that will decrease inflammation, because we're going to eat things that are going to cause us inflammation in our bodies. When we eat food, and let's say we eat something that's sugary, or we breathe in air that's not healthy, or we are having some type of other process happen in our body, it will get into our blood, and our liver has to deal with that once it gets into our blood. And our liver is our main filtering organ. It's going to try and filter out anything that is inflammatory. The problem is when we filter through our liver, and we have inflammation in our body, our liver becomes overworked, and then you have a decreased ability to use the liver the way it's supposed to be used. It's supposed to filter, and it's one of its main things that it does is help metabolize fats. So think about this. If you have high levels of inflammation happening in your body, then the liver is only going to be able to take care of the inflammation. It's not going to be able to do its other responsibilities because it wants to put out fires first. Once it puts out fires, then it can focus on helping to make sure you have your metabolism running properly. So cut out the fires first by using something to help take care of the inflammation so that your liver can actually take care of metabolizing and using fats the way it's supposed to in the body. Cool. So to do this, I personally use Alpha CRS, and this is, think of this as your anti-inflammatory supplement. It's going to clean out your filtering organs, liver and kidneys predominantly, and it's going to make sure that they can do their job. So things that this has that I love, that I had already taken before I started taking this: boswellia, milk thistle, bromelain. These are all great at helping to decrease inflammation. These are just 3 of them. There is a huge amount of supplements in this particular blend, and it's just an awesome blend. So we also need to talk about how we remodel our house, how we remodel and take care of our bodies. So we want to keep it up to snuff rather than having a fixer-upper. And how we do that is we're going to use omega oils. And let me talk a little bit about, a lot of people know that omega oils are good for you, but they don't know what actually happens. I have to tell you a little bit of anatomy. So we're going back to school for a second here, but this is the inside lining of your arteries, okay? So do you see that endothelial cell? That's the outermost, well, I should say the innermost part of your artery on the inside wall. And then you have these other levels that go preceding outward. If you see that smooth muscle level, omega oils act directly on that smooth muscle level. It will act as a means of helping to relax it. And that relaxing causes vasodilation, right? So rather than vasoconstriction, it allows it to relax. So when that relaxes, your blood pressure decreases. Why do we care about blood pressure decreasing? When we relax that muscle, the blood pressure decreases. The blood pressure will not be pushing on the walls of the arteries. And when it doesn't push on the walls of the arteries, it allows it not to be damaged. Because think about this, if you've ever had a high pressure hose run against your skin, that can actually cut your skin, right? If you've ever had a very high pressure hose, like a water, what are those called? Power water, I can't even think of what they're called. Water pressure gun, right? If you have one of those, it can actually cut your skin if you put it close enough. So that is the same thing that's happening inside your arteries, right? If you go through vasoconstriction, prolonged vasoconstriction, it damages the inside. It breaks that endothelial cell, that inner lining, and as a result, what you end up with is you end up with damage on that inside level. Okay, so and here is an example. If you see on this picture on the right hand side, the atherosclerosis happening on that right side, that's due to damage that you've created. Oftentimes it's due to that increased friction of prolonged increased blood pressure. It can also be due to sugars implanting underneath that endothelial layer of your arteries, and it can cause more damage on that endothelial level. These are incredibly important. If you damage the inner levels or the inside level, inside layers of your arteries, those are in charge of absorbing your food. Those are in charge. They're in charge of absorbing, I should say, sorry, the minerals and vitamins that come out of your food, right? So if those aren't healthy, they can't absorb over that artery. So it's very important that we keep them healthy. Okay. Let's see. So we already talked about that. So omega oils are super, super helpful and important for our cardiovascular health. If you really want to look into it, it's very, very good for brain health also, because fats help coat all of your axons, all your little nerves that you have in your brain, and all the nervous system throughout your whole body. Okay, so the great things that are in here, they have really excellent quality omega oils from fish, from sardines, mackerel, and anchovies. And then they also have a blend of essential oils that helps with taking down inflammatory processes, frankincense, cumin, wild orange. You can read the list there. But this is a great way to help rebuild the structures inside your body, particularly your cardiovascular system and your neurological system. The last thing that has to be talked about is the bioavailability. And I know I said at the beginning, I said I don't have time to talk about everything about maximized bioavailability. I'll tell you about a couple things. So what doTERRA has done is they've actually, if you look at something like a Centrum Silver, or most of the supplements that you're going to get at a GNC, or even a lot that you'll get at any health food store, a lot of time they're isolates, which means that they just took the vitamin C and they just put it inside a pill, and they say, okay, good luck, we hope you absorb that. The absorption rates of those are not nearly as high as if they connect it to food, or if it's in food. So doTERRAs are connected to what's called a glycoprotein matrix. It's a food, and the vitamins are connected to that. And so when the body sees that, it says, oh, I would really like to digest some of that food. And as a result, it's going to pull the vitamin with the food, all right, because it's attached to it. Chelated minerals are something that's similar, where so your body wants, your body's made out of proteins. And so anytime it sees something that it can use to make proteins, it's going to pull it in. So chelation basically means they've attached minerals to amino acids, which are the building block of proteins. So when the body sees amino acids, it says, ooh, I know exactly what to do with that. And oh, wow, it's already broken down for me. I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to break down protein to make bigger proteins. So when it sees that, it says, wow, I want that. I really want that. It'll pull that, and it'll pull the minerals that are attached with it. Okay. So this is a reason that you're getting way more out of your doTERRA supplements than you are out of anything else off the shelf, because they've actually thought about, okay, how do we make sure this gets into your system and stays in your system? Well, why do other supplement companies not do this? Well, because it's a lot more, it's hard to do. It's actually hard to do this. It takes more steps, and there's no regulation from the FDA, which I'm grateful for, by the way. I'd rather not have the FDA regulating vitamins and mineral supplements, but I also would like to see that they actually are being absorbed, that we're actually able to use them, right? They have food-based antioxidants in here, right? In your alpha CRS, it's all food-based, right? Your omegas, they've done something really smart. They put their A, D, and K. Those are all fat-soluble vitamins. And if you're not familiar with fat-soluble vitamins, what the fat-soluble part means is it has to be taken with fats, meaning you have to eat fats in the same meal or at the same time that you eat a vitamin that's a fat-soluble vitamin, or you won't digest it at all. It won't go into your system. So something great that doTERRA's done is in their omega oil, they actually put A, D, and K in their omega oil. So it's surrounded by fat. So you're going to absorb it, all of the A, D, and K that are in there. As long as your digestive system is healthy, you're going to absorb that because it's surrounded by fat. And then finally, they've put essential oils in with their Z Omega blend, which increases its efficacy, its strength, its and increases its ability to do what it needs to do. So doTERRA, they really do have the whole system. You have your nutritional gaps taken care of, check. Taking your inflammation down, check. You have a great way to remodel, to upkeep, to keep your brain, your heart running properly and being maintained to their highest capacity. And they've made them in a way that you can actually digest them, so you're not just peeing them into the toilet and wasting your money. So that's something that I really love about doTERRA. The three vitamins here are the ones that we already talked about: the Alpha CRS, the Microplex VMZ, and the Z Omega. I take these every single day, and I tell all my, I highly encourage my patients to take these every single day. It's just a great way to be able to make sure that you're filling in your gaps and taking care of your body the best way possible. So I'm going to throw it back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Excellent.
Yeah. Every time I hear this, I learn some more. So that was fantastic. So if you do these things, then you're gonna increase your life because you're healthier, period, right? I mean, you're gonna absorb more of your nutrients, you're gonna have less inflammation using both the Life of Vitality and the MetaPower. And so they're like a 1-2 punch. Work really well together. Thank you so much. That was awesome. So we're trying to undo the share here
There we
and
go.
turn off the recording.
No, we're not done yet. So thank you. That was really excellent. So just in summary, we talked about the full spectrum of metabolic health tonight. And with the 2 product families, the MetaPower product family, with the three products that we talked about that address those 3 obstacles to metabolic health. And then Dr. Joel just talked to us about the supplements that are the other piece of that whole foundation. So we invite you to, I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way here. We invite you to study it more, talk to the person that maybe invited you here if you have additional questions, and we can really help you understand the full value that these wonderful products can provide. I always like to, before we end, I always like to talk about something that to me is very important and that I find really resonates with a lot of people, especially in today's world. And that is that we not only are these wonderful products, but the way the products are created and produced and harvested is in such, not just a sustainable way, but it's in a way that is a huge benefit to the people who traditionally in this type of product have been the most repressed in the world. The people who are growing the products, or the plants, who are harvesting them, doing all the hard work, traditionally are the ones who are getting almost nothing for their work. And over the past 10 years, doTERRA has instituted this program called Co-Impact Sourcing, where they have gone in and made sure that the farmers and the growers and the harvesters are getting fair pay and the ability to sustain themselves and their families for the work that they do. It's really, that's just the very, very tip of the iceberg. It's remarkable what is happening around the world and the changes that are happening in people's lives. So if that's something that's important to you, I encourage you to check that out as well. One other really thing that I just think is important to throw in here is I talked about the synergies of all the things that are in the MetaPower Advantage. Cynthia and I have used collagens over the years, a lot of different collagens and all these other different supplements to try to give us that full synergistic effect. Cynthia actually did the math on this when she first saw this slide, and she said, yeah, that's about right. With all the types of products that we used to buy, you would spend over $300 just to get the same benefit. So the way you get started, if you haven't started already, is to talk to the person that invited you about getting started today. You can get the whole kit. There's a starter kit that's well priced. It's a great value, and or you can focus in on a particular product that is a challenge for you.
Can I just add one
Yeah, go
little
ahead.
thing? And then when you do that kit, you can also look online in your new office area in your doTERRA back office things. And you'll see some things that will tell you more information. So a lot of the very beginning questions that you might have about your products, you can have answered by a series of classes that are offered about this as well.
Yeah. The other really cool thing is this year, doTERRA waived the membership fee for signing up as a wholesale customer. So you get the wholesale, a 25% discount wholesale price without a membership fee when you sign up this year. So
And you end up
That's
with a
really-
free diffuser also.
and a free diffuser.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Anyway,
a killer deal.
if you didn't get that, we're sorry, but if you did get that, you can pay it forward and have somebody else have that.
So what you can expect when you get involved with these products and the people that are representing them, you will get, and I'm just going to focus in on one thing here that I think makes a huge difference, is you're going to get the kind of support, education, additional information, attention to your health and to your health journey. That's going to make a big difference for you. It's not just like, here, your product, good luck, pat you on the back, and never see you again. We really, really care about seeing you be successful and having these improvements in your lives. So thank you for being with us, and we'll end it here, and we'll open it up for any questions that you might have.
And remember, you can reach out and ask questions. If you don't have time tonight, you're welcome to reach out later too.
Yes. And I will stop the recording.
See if you can find it.
I can find it.
Pull up that page right there. I'll go up to the top.
Oh, I have to stop share. Okay, here we go.
Too many buttons.
Too many buttons.